Good day. Today we'd like to talk about vertigo, something that affects many people. There's a lot of information that's available online as well as on blog sites and whatnot on Facebook about vertigo. I'm not sure how much of it is accurate. I know some of it may be, and I'm sure there's a lot of it that may not be. People get vertigo, and true classic vertigo is a sense of rotational spinning. You feel as if the room or yourself is going round and round. It's different from dizziness, which is a lightheaded feeling, versus disequilibrium, which is a loss of balance. People invariably go to the emergency room, and when they go to the emergency room, you're typically going to get a CT of your head to rule out any bad stuff. Unfortunately, this usually happens in lieu of a reasonable exam, which is unfortunate because most of the time, if you examine someone appropriately, you'll make the determination as to whether or not imaging is even necessary, rather than have it done before the exam, which just doesn't make good clinical sense, judgment. Also, you typically get EKGs and that kind of stuff, blood work, to see if there's any bad stuff going on. And then if all that's normal, they'll typically give you a prescription for meclizine, or aka Antivert, which is really just a terrible methodology for management. The reason why is because meclizine doesn't do anything to remediate vertigo. It's a vestibular suppressant, and as a vestibular suppressant, that means it's a central nervous system depressant, so it's going to slow down your nervous system, it's going to slow down your reaction time, and as a result of that, it actually increases your risk for falls. The reason why people use it is because of the fact that it does slow down the vestibular affect, so it could have a little lightening effect on the vertigo that you're getting, but more importantly, it's inducing a risk for fall, it's inducing dizziness. If you look it up in the PDR, you'll find out that the leading side effect of meclizine is actually dizziness, which is the main indication for its use. More importantly, being a vestibular suppressant, it's actually going to interfere with the natural habituation process of your vestibular system trying to get itself back in functional integration. It's going to be offset by taking meclizine, and it actually interferes with that natural habituation, so it can actually prolong the disorder. So there's almost no instance where meclizine is a wise choice if you're suffering from vertigo. There are some exceptions to that rule. People with certain types of vertigo, like vestibular neuritis or vestibular migraines or Meniere's, this group of people have long-lasting vertigo, and sometimes vestibular suppressant medication can be helpful at easing the symptoms until such point that they remediate, at which point we can do things to reintegrate the system. It's always very important to reintegrate these systems, because when you have vertigo, it's essentially a sign that there's a sensory mismatch between the left and right vestibular labyrinths, and until that gets fixed, you're going to continue to have dizziness and disequilibrium. I can make a statement that whenever anyone has vertigo, they immediately have two problems. You have vertigo, and you also have dizziness and disequilibrium, which occur as a result of having vertigo. When we treat vertigo, it depends on what's causing the vertigo. Vertigo in and of itself is only a symptom. It's not an actual disorder. Vertigo just implies that you're spinning around. So we need to find out what's causing that spinning, and if it's something that's more complicated, the treatment's naturally going to get more complicated, but most times vertigo is just a simple positional vertigo. I'm sure everybody who's watching this video has heard of the crystal story, where there's loose crystals in the vestibular labyrinthine canal system, and those particles can move where you've got a sensory mismatch from one side to the other, and that causes you to create eye movements that give you the illusion that the universe is turning, and that's what causes that displacement. Usually this type of vertigo will last for seconds at a time. Usually it's less than a minute, and then it goes away, and then you're left feeling dizziness and disequilibrium after that, but the initial phase of vertigo typically lasts seconds. This is very easily treated, at least in my office. By me, it's very easily treated. The treatment is not ubiquitous. That is to say, one treatment is not a one-size-fits-all kind of approach. There are 6 canals, and depending on where that debris is located, the maneuver that we use to treat it has to be modified. So if you're doing a standard, what's been coined the Epley maneuver, which was discovered by John Epley, otolaryngologist, circa in the 80s, that treatment's not going to work if the debris is in a horizontal canal as opposed to a posterior canal. So whoever's doing the clinical treatment here needs to be aware of these things, because if you're doing the wrong canal, you're just making your patient suffer needlessly, and you're not going to make it go away. Once the vertigo is treated, then we have to go into a vestibular rehabilitation phase where we try to reintegrate the labyrinths so that things work the way they were intended, so that there's a spot-on integration. And once that's restored, you're back to normal. So real quick, this was just a little tidbit on vertigo. If you're suffering with vertigo, dizziness, disequilibrium, or fall risk, I would urge you to reach out to me or my office. Come in and see us. This is something that I specialize in and have specialized in for a long, long time. We can help you, and we can certainly answer any questions as well. I hope that this was informative and that you got something from it. Thank you so much for attending, and we'll have more of these episodes to follow. Thanks, and have a good day.